Hey, how's it going? Ushoji here. Wanted to do a quick review of the Victrix Pro KO. It's been my main controller over the past year, so I just wanted to give some thoughts on it, some pros and cons, as well as compare it to a few different leverless controllers that I've used and tried out. If this video is helpful, please like and subscribe. And yeah, let's just dive into it. If you're in the market for a new leverless, hopefully this is helpful. To start things off, this controller is the second leverless controller that Victrix has put out. They have the Victrix Pro FS12, which is a larger leverless controller. I think it's about 400 bucks, which is a lot of money. This one retails for about $280, which is also a lot of money. I ended up getting it on sale for around $220 directly from the Victrix website before sales and shipping. But I do believe they have it on Amazon, so if they have it for sale on there, I recommend getting it there instead. So that way, if you don't like it, you can end up returning it. So let's just talk about some things I really like about this controller. The build quality is really nice. I like that they have a headphone jack here, if you can see this, so you can control the volume of your headphones directly from the controller. They have software with it, which I'll talk about later in a couple of minutes. There's some things nice about it, some things I don't like about it. And the main thing, the coolest thing about this controller is how modular it is, and you can swap out this button, these two buttons, as well as this button, which I'm not currently using. So up top, you have your PlayStation button, touchpad. You have the share button, the lighting button that you can change the lights with. There's different configurations you can set up. You can adjust your headphone volume through here, and then this here, and we'll hold it up closer to the webcam so it's a little easier to see the symbols maybe, but this last button here is for changing button mapping. So you don't actually have to use the software to change button mappings. You can actually do it without it completely, which is really nice. Here you have L3, R3, start button, and your tournament lock switch, which I really like. Quick note on this, I don't know how you would implement this, but it would be nice if you could turn on the tournament lock and it could turn off any of these buttons that are mapped to the buttons up top. The reason I say this is because I like to play on PC and I try to map this to the share button, which is used for reset on PC. But then if you're playing on PlayStation and you press this, it's going to pop up the share screen, which is kind of annoying. So it'd be nice if you could just like turn this on and this button doesn't work anymore. But currently that's not something you can do, so I just have this mapped touchpad for now so that on PlayStation if I'm playing I can reset real quick, and on PC I just, use the regular button. But yeah, anyway, I have these two buttons mapped to L3 and R3, and when I'm playing Street Fighter, this is my 3 kicks, this is my throw. But yeah, let's open up the controller. Actually, before we do that, I want to show you the back. This is all fully rubberized so it doesn't slip, which is really nice. And if you want to mod the controller, you just have to open these up and the button will, the top will pop off like this. And you can see here there's magnets to, make sure it doesn't just slide off. But what's nice here, you can see there's caps here that I've used. This is where I put when I change out the buttons, I added the extra ones. You can just put the caps here. The switches go in here. And then you have the button that I haven't used is in here. So each one comes with this little plastic thing to put in, as well as the button keycap. So there's 3 components to the button. There's the cap, the ring, and then the actual switch here. You do want to be careful putting this in because you can bend the points here. So I'm not sure exactly what types of switch. I think these are Cherry MX Silvers, I want to say. I'll put the correct name in the video when I'm editing. But yeah, what's nice is you can switch these out anytime. They even give you this little tweezer thing that just goes directly into the controller. But yeah, overall it's held up really well over the past year. It has collected a little bit of dust, as you can see here, which I probably should have cleaned before recording. And then once you're done modding it, you just close it and switch these back on. So those are a few of the things I really like about it. And then the software is also, for the most part, nice. You can use it to configure lighting, SOCD, and things like that. Let me plug in my controller so you can see the different lighting configurations, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I don't like about the software. Also, in terms of durability, it does come with the USB-C cable. There is a latch here that you can use to plug in the controller, and then you close it. I will say, I don't know if this is picking up, this controller or this cable, the threading, it's getting a little, I guess it feels like it's coming undone here, if you can see that. So the cable might not be as durable. I don't know if you can buy these like separately through Victrix. I think some other ones will fit into this jack, but you know, it's best to use the Victrix one if they sell them separately. So, and I take good care of my stuff too. I'm not like, you know, super rough with it or anything. This just comes, I guess, from natural wear and tear and just unplugging it and plugging it back in. So what's nice is you can have up to 4 different profiles on here. I don't know how well this is coming through, but you can see here, this is my Street Fighter layout. I have my light punch, medium punch, heavy punch, and kicks all here. Drive impact, drive parry. And then this is just, you know, my directional buttons, 3 kicks, throw button. And then my Tekken layout, you know, is just regular layout. I just like the color combination of the purple, orange, and white. And then my 2x KO layout. So what's nice about the software is you can individually change every single button. And then there's also different options you can do with, there's a breathing pattern, there's a light show pattern, and you know, the activation of the, you know, the lights off until you press it, which is all nice. I wish they had a few more options in there, and I also wish the color selection was better, because it just gives you that like RGB rainbow thing, and you just have to click at the right spot to get the color you want. If you could just put in a hex code or something, it would be much easier. But yeah, overall, it's been a great controller. Let's just dive into a few of the cons, and one of the main reasons why I'm actually going to be switching off of this controller pretty soon. So we were talking about the software. The software is, for the most part, nice. However, it has been kind of buggy. And what happened with me is when I plugged in the controller, it wouldn't recognize it for a long time, and I couldn't figure out why. I think it was because I had Steam open, I closed Steam, issue persisted. I had to look it up, and I was able to find the solution. I'll link the post I found that helped on there. You actually have to go into your device manager. I'm sorry about this thing going in and out of focus. Hopefully it's not too distracting. The thing with this is you have to go into your device manager and turn off a couple of the devices there in order for this controller to pick up, be recognized by the software. So really annoying, really shouldn't have been an issue in the first place, but it is what it is. Once I turned that off, the software was working fine without any issues, and then I was able to, you know, adjust the lighting and everything of these controllers accordingly. Oh yeah, this is my last option, which is just the all purple. I think this is one of the default ones it comes with. So yeah, the software can be a bit buggy for some people. You know, it'll require some configuring and troubleshooting sometimes if it doesn't pick up your controller, but hopefully the post I link is helpful. Now, another con, and the biggest reason I'm switching away from it, is the buttons. I am not a fan of these glossy plastic button caps, as well as the like how much travel there is in order to play. I think for 2D games it hasn't really been an issue for me. For 2D games it's no problem. Street Fighter, 2X KO, it's whatever. For 3D games, because I really love playing Tekken, it's kind of a headache, because Tekken is very movement heavy, and so when I'm playing on pad, for instance, movement feels a lot easier, whereas like when you're like pressing all these buttons really fast and the amount of travel there is, movement for me doesn't feel as smooth. Again, it might just be a scrub issue. Other people will probably have no issues, but this is just my my experience with it, right? So I have seen posts of people trying out different button caps with the O-rings removed, and different configurations. I didn't really look into all that. I'm not really interested in modding this controller. I also don't trust myself to do it properly. And yeah, so that's been my biggest gripe with this, is just I don't like how these buttons feel and the amount of travel. They're very tall buttons. I don't know if it's, you know, being picked up properly in this video, but like you can see here, like there's a lot of travel to to really press them. And I like to slam down on the buttons too when I'm playing. So, you know, the travel goes all the way, even though the actuation might not be until the button's all the way pushed in, right? So that's my biggest gripe is the button caps and the travel. Software has some issues with it. And then the only other thing is really the price. You know, it is $280. I think it is worth that, but you should get it on sale if you can. You are getting a lot with this controller, especially if you don't mind the button cams. It's really a personal preference thing. Very high quality controller. I do love this little angle here for the wrists. I either play on my desk like this, or I'll play in my lap like this with my elbows resting on my chair. So there's also that. So, you know, and if I'm playing off my couch, I think it's also nice to just have the wrist angle. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about it. I would say if this is your first leverless, I don't know if I would recommend it because it is a big investment. If you're getting into leverless controllers just now, I actually recommend picking up a controller like this. This is the Hot R16. This was the first leverless controller I purchased. Same issue with the button sizes though. The travel, you know, is actually feels very similar to the Victrix Pro KO, except they don't have the glossy purple, the glossy button caps. These are more like, they feel plastic, but I don't know what the right material is, right? So I don't want to, I don't know. I don't know what these are, but they don't feel as glossy like these, and they don't pick up a lot of fingerprints and things like that. So overall, this is a good controller. If you do need it for PS5, you will need a converter. This is the Brook Wingman FGC2. One quick note about that. I have a PS5 Pro. So for those who aren't familiar, the front USB ports are actually USB-C on the Pros. The original ones have USB-A's. For some reason, this Brook Wingman, when I try to play with that Hot R16 or like my PS4 controller and I use the Wingman to play like Tekken or something, it doesn't pick it up because I have to plug it into the back port. And so I don't know if that's just a me issue, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but just wanted to call that out. A few other leverless controllers I've tried, because I was looking for a replacement for this mid last year just to find ones with buttons I liked more. The Quanva Sapphire is a good controller. I didn't like the overall feel of it though. It felt very plasticky, and the buttons were nice. You can actually adjust the actuation of them with this little tool they give you. But I just compared to the Victrix, it just felt like a downgrade in terms of build quality, which makes sense. It is $100 cheaper, I believe. I think it goes for like $180 or something, and on sale it's probably like $150 or something. I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, I ended up returning that. And the other one I tried, which was a close competitor to this one, in my opinion, was the Corsair Nova Blade Pro. I actually used it in one of my previous Street Fighter videos. Overall, very, very nice controller. It even comes with like this like shell cover for when you're not using it, whereas like the Victrix comes with this little bag, you know, this little carrying sack, which this is where I put my controller in when I'm not using it, so it doesn't like collect too much dust. But the Corsair comes with like a hard shell cover. My biggest issue with it was that the buttons were even taller, it felt, than the Victrix's, and they were so much louder too. This one is also very loud. I don't know if you've watched my last Street Fighter video, the sound definitely picks up, and it's not like I have my mic close to the video, you know, but you can still, you know, hear it pretty loudly, even when my mic's not like pointed at the controller for like a sound host or something. The Corsair was even worse in terms of sound, but it also works wirelessly, so it's also really, really nice. And it's also about, I think it goes for $200. I'll have to double check that, but cheaper than the Victrix. You can use it wirelessly. If you don't mind tall button caps, honestly, it's a great pick. I don't think it has a button here. I think it has a button up top. and then has 2 buttons here. So you could essentially use the same button configuration. It has some other functionality like turbo mode, and you can adjust actuation and all that fancy stuff. I didn't mess around with that too much. I just didn't like the overall feel of the button, so I ended up returning it. And then the only other controller I can think of that I've used is Razer Kitsune. That was actually one of the earliest leverless controllers I tried out. At that time, I had purchased it at full price, and to me, it just wasn't worth it. I ended up returning it. It's $300 for a controller that, honestly, you could find at Hot 42, Ultra, or M16, whatever. Like, I'm not familiar with all the different models, but they come pretty close in terms of how they feel to a Kitsune, and you can pay half or even less than half as much. So if it's your first leverless, I recommend looking there before dropping like $200-300 on a leverless controller. But the controller that I'm actually going to be moving to from this one, should be coming in the mail in a couple days, is the Hitbox Ultra Daigo edition. So it's a limited edition one. They're actually on sale right now. I think $50 off from what they normally are. I ended up picking one up on sale. And it's still expensive controller, and I still would not recommend that as your first leverless, because I think you can't get them on Amazon, and I ordered it from Hitbox directly, and they're a bit stricter when it comes to the return policy. So if you drop $300 on a controller you don't like, I mean, you got to hit up Facebook Marketplace or something, because you're not going to be able to return it to them unless there's like, it might be on a case-by-case basis, I'm not sure, but it's no Amazon in terms of returns. So yeah, I'm excited to try that out. I'm not sure if I'm going to do an unboxing video, but I will be doing a later comparison between Victrix and the Hitbox. But I'm really excited for it. I did a lot of research into it before purchasing, and those buttons seem exactly like what I'm looking for. I also prefer a slightly wider, so I didn't mention this earlier, but this is a good size for a controller. But sometimes when I'm playing on my couch, like on my lap or something, I just wish I could have a little bit more space, just so I can sit more comfortably. Again, very minor issue. Probably most people might not even care about that, but that's just my opinion. Let me see, am I missing anything else about this controller that I should mention? I mean, I think I covered the main things that are top of mind for me for using this controller. So, I mean, quick summary, fantastic build, pricey controller. Software is hit or miss, can have some issues with it. Button caps, personally not the biggest fan of. I don't like the glossy feel, don't like the high travel. I wish you could, swap them out with some low travel buttons. You can swap out the switches. I've seen people do that. Instead of using the Cherry MX silvers or whatever, they've replaced them with like browns or reds or whatever. I am not well versed in all the different switches. So there are a lot of other great YouTubers out there that can dive deeper into the different differences between those two. Me personally, I just prefer low travel buttons. So we'll see how the Hitbox works for me when it comes in the mail. So enough rambling. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this was helpful. If you'd like me to do a deep dive into other controllers, maybe let me know in the comments. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your, feel free to leave a comment. Sorry again about this camera going in and out of focus. It's my first time recording like this on my on my desk for a review. I've done a hand cam video, but that's usually smaller, so quality is not that much of an issue. But yeah, we'll see how this turns out. So anyway, hope you guys have a good one, and yeah, take care.